Hi, so today I'm going to go over how to calculate Z and T scores from a sample's mean and standard deviation. So to begin, before I do explain how to calculate the Z and T scores, I want to quickly define standard scores. So standard scores is essentially used to indicate where a person stands in a group or a common scale. So z-scores is the most fundamental standard score as it utilizes the given mean and standard deviation. So that's part of the reason why I quickly went over the definition of standard scores. So from this, to calculate z-scores, you need to subtract the mean from the observed score, which is commonly referred to as xi, and then you have to divide the difference by the standard deviation, which can be expressed by the letter s. So the z-score represents how many standard deviation units a raw score is away from the mean. And the mean is equal to 0 and the standard deviation is equal to 1 in a normal distribution of scores. So I'm going to give an example of how to calculate the z-score. So an example of calculating the z-score with an observed score of 140, a mean of 110, and a standard deviation of 10 would equal a z-score of 3. So the reason why it would equal 3 is because you would have to subtract the observed score of 140 from the mean of 110, and then you'd have to divide that subtracted total by the standard deviation of 10. Additionally, to determine the t-scores, you have to use 50 plus 10 times your z-score. So in order to calculate a t-score, you first need to find your z-score. So the 50 in the t-score formula represents the mean, and the 10 is the standard deviation. So an example of finding t-score would be, let's say you have an observed score of 91, a standard deviation of 4.7, and a mean of 7.6. So the first thing we would have to do is find z-score, which in this case is going to equal 3.9 by following the formula before. And then from this, we can now add 50 plus 10 times the z-score of 3.9, which gives us a t-score of 81.9, and that's how you'd find the t-score.